because people I think misunderstand the difference between being polite and then because people say, "Oh, Canadians are nice." We're not nice.
Hmm.
We're polite. There's a very
Mhm.
big difference. Whereas, you'll if somebody tries to go after us on the internet or say mean things on the internet, we'll just go, "Well, you, bud," and like that's about it. There's nothing else.
Exactly. Unless it's World War
We're
One.
not gonna waste our time. We just go, you, bud. Come at me in the Timmy's parking lot. I'll slug you. That's about it.
Yeah, but as was it Chris Valenti, the TikTok historian, as was points out, except this is all true except for when it's World War One, in which case it's war crimes. Yeah. Ooh.
All right, buds. Looks like we're going to war, eh? So, a couple of ground rules. No rules. I'm kidding. A couple of ground rules. No quarter. We don't have the facilities to take prisoners, bud. So, just cap them. How about that, huh? And I was talking to America, and I was talking to England, and they quite literally said no rules. So I have a proposition, buds. Let's live by that. But next time, let's make some rules, okay? And why don't we push the envelope as far as we can, huh? And then we'll just make up for it for the next 100 years by being the nicest people you could possibly imagine. All right, buds? Fix bayonets! Sorry about that, bud. Don't know what came over me there for a second. Fix bayonets!
Hello and welcome back to Archaeo Scoop. This is the show.
Where we look at news from history, archaeology, and the cultural sphere. And I do believe it is my turn this week to go first.
No,
Because,
because you went with Doug Tanyon last week.
oh, did I lead with him last
Yeah,
week?
yeah,
Oh, dang. All right.
yeah. Or
I
last
was going to say
episode.
this story is such a banger, though. But we'll have to, but fair is fair, and we go with you first.
Well. My first story is all about builders having discovered a medieval well in a city centre.
A mine.
And they call it a mine.
Mine.
Yes, they discovered.
No,
Oh,
no. Question is it a poison well? Is it wells with babies down it like the Roman ones? Like what kind of well is
as far
this?
as I can tell, there's nothing horrible in this well. It's just a well, and I thought it was a well good story, and I simply
Oh,
wanted to
that's why you picked Jesus
I wanted to
Christ.
be able to
It's
say,
that day. It's
well.
that day.
Exactly, yeah. So a well believed to date back well into the medieval times has been well discovered by builders while working at a department store in the Wellgood, North Yorkshire Cathedral City
This is just good. You
of
wrote this
Ripon.
article. I know you wrote this article because it's going to be you saying the word well 500 times just to see how many different you listen. As linguistically speaking, I appreciate this because you're going to
Uh-huh.
have to, going,
It's flexibility,
well.
baby. Yeah. Yeah, this is in Ripon, and this is a structure which is as deep as 42 feet. That's 12.8 meters for those of us who are sane.
The metric system.
And it was found near the Marshall Way car park in Ripon. It's thought to be hundreds of years old. Hundreds of years old. It was recently uncovered by the contractors during groundworks for a new courtyard at Halls of Ripon. Robert Stern, whose firm, Stern Properties, is leading the work, said, well, the plan is to put a secure reinforced glass cover on it and make the well a special feature. Builder
Oh, you
Paul,
can't throw things down it.
apparently not. No,
So it's a dry well. It's not an active well.
no.
Now my question is, can they make it an active well?
Well, that's a good question. In so much as I imagine water tables and also actually the sewerage system as it's managed
Hmm.
in the city today probably has an effect on that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
Builder Paul Fountain carried out a full inspection of the well, assisted by his son Ollie and mountaineering instructor Pete Brecken. He was assisted on his descent and ascent of the well by Brecon, who used climbing ropes to abseil down. He described it as mind-blowing as an experience, believing himself to be the first person for hundreds of years to descend into the well. According to the builder, the stonework is of excellent condition, aka well good. And Ripon is one of the smallest cities in England, with St. Wilfrid founding a stone monastery there in the 7th century. Its extensive history is reflected in the buildings and traditions, one of which is an ancient ritual of setting the watch. Every night a horn is blown at the four corners of the obelisk in the market square, a ceremony that's taken place for more than 1,000 years.
Wait. They said hundreds before. So now it's more than 1,000.
Well, 7th century. I mean, the well, I think, is hundreds of years old. The city, the town,
Oh, okay, I see.
the place, and its origins. Richard Taylor, chair of Ripon Civic Society, described the recently unearthed well as impressive. And he did not go so far as to use the word well. Other medieval wells have been found in Ripon, he said, but he wasn't aware of any others in the heart of the city centre.
7th century is pretty good though. I mean, that for a well to still exist. How's the stonework on that thing? Probably tipped. I mean, they said it's in good condition, but I mean, it's probably if it's lasted till today. Now, was it covered, or it was just kind of hanging out there and it was filled?
I believe it was covered, and it was just uncovered during groundwork. So as I say, changes in ground level, changes in how people are doing water management, all would have changed basically how this stuff appears.
And they
on the
didn't
ground,
find
doesn't it?
anything down there, no coins, no
Apparently
nothing.
not. It seems to have been empty. Yeah, which is an interesting absence in its own way. But this really is the pièce de résistance, which I think they really should have dived into here. No pun intended there. We've got things like St. Wilfrid's Well down below the Spa Gardens, but that's more of a well coming out of the rock face rather than a deep well. So Wilfrid's Well really should be Welfrid, shouldn't it? It should be Welfrid's Well, and it's not a deep well. It comes out of the rock face. I know such things did exist, but it's also always useful to have a source of water that is not dependent on the river or on collecting rainwater. The department store is the Ripon Hall department store is continuing a £400,000 revamp, with Halls of Ripon director Barry Cooper describing the well as I don't think he meant this, but this is fucking brilliant, as a welcome bonus. Welcome. Yes! Those are literally the last two words of the article. Yes.
I apologize to everybody who has ears and hearts.
Yesterday, just for folks at home, I said to Michelle, I've got my article. I've got the perfect article. And you were like, it better not be about AI. And I was like, oh, it's not. It's not
This is
about
a perfect
AI.
one. I have to say, this is pretty dang good.
Yeah.
But mine, I think, takes the cake because this past week, NASA's Artemis II mission, their crew eclipsed the record for the farthest human space flight ever. This comes to us directly from NASA. And the best thing is that I was glued to this. I love this stuff. And yes, by the way, space archaeology is a thing. There are geoarchaeologists who work on space rocks, and especially on things like Mars. They're really wonderful. And they do work for NASA. And so space archaeology is important, and especially when we're dealing with things like the Artemis II mission, and how they slingshot around the moon. So this way they could take photos of the far side, not the dark. There is no dark side of the moon. And my favorite, I have two favorite bits about this. One is when they took the photos of the far side of the moon, somebody said, "Well, how is that side illuminated? What's illuminating that side?" And
Yep.
and it made me remember that yes, kids, we have the sun, and the sun, just because we can't see, just because the moon is geolocked with us and goes like this, it does not mean that the sun does not shine.
No. This cow is small. Those cows are far away.
Small, far away. Small, far away. But
Okay.
my other favorite bit about this, the best clip of all time,
Yep.
was when this went off, there was a kid who was interviewed by CNN. And the reporter on CNN, who seemed a very interesting man, he just decided, do you want me to hold on, Mark?
No, carry on. So CNN, yes, go on. Continue.
So my second favorite bit about this, though, before I read the full article,
Uh-huh.
is that CNN interviewed a few people who were sitting by and obviously waiting for the pod to come down, waiting for Orion to come back down.
Uh-huh.
So they interviewed this kid, and this kid said, the interviewer said to him, "Why are you here? Why are you interested in space? Why is it important to you?" And the kid first looked incredulously, and
Like,
then looked at the man dead in the eye and said, "'Cause we're going to the fucking moon, that's why."
Why do you want to be here? Why do you love space? Why do you love being a part of history?
We're going back to the frickin' moon, that's why.
yes.
Love you, kid.
Yes.
Love you. Keep that enthusiasm for space as
Yeah.
ever. And so, of course, 4 astronauts aboard NASA's Artemis II test flight around the moon made history at 12:56 p.m. CDT on Monday, traveling 248,655 miles from Earth, surpassing the record for human space flight's farthest distance previously set by the Apollo 13 mission in 1970. At its farthest point, the crew inside the Orion spacecraft traveled about 252,756 miles before looping back around to our home planet, setting the new record for human spaceflight.
Yep.
There
Yep.
it is.
And yes,
Very
I
nice.
did in fact get this Lego model. It's a Lego Technic model, and you wind the base, and the whole thing launches. It's sort of hard to see on camera, but then the booster rockets separate, and then
Oh,
the
sick.
module comes up and keeps on going. Come on, come on. There we go. And
Yo,
kaboosh. Oh, sorry.
that's dope as heck. That's
Yeah, there you go.
fantastic.
It's even got a blue flame for the hydrogen on
It
the module.
does. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Do you put the
Yeah.
battery in there?
Oh no, it doesn't light up, but
Oh, it's got a little fire on the bottom.
yeah, yeah. So the whole thing launches. It sort of. I mean, this is an awful way of demonstrating it, but it's absolutely fantastic. And also on the base, you've got the 4 little astronauts, microfigures. It's
Yes,
just
and so it's Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. All of them amazingly gorgeous people, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Of course, Jeremy is Canada. We were very excited to come up there. But I also love that Jeremy brought maple syrup up there.
Oh, did he?
In
Very
space. Yes,
good.
he did. He brought maple syrup and maple cookies, which I thought was very funny. And the most Canadian thing he could have done, but absolutely wonderful. I was glued to this. I was when they actually landed. I mean, there's footage that you can see from inside the Orion, which is amazing because you can see when it ignites and the plasma starts forming, and it's just a flaming ball of fire going back into the atmosphere. It's amazing. But when they landed, the person on the comms was saying they're fine, and I'm like, open the can. I just wanted the Navy, because the Navy came, circled, made sure everything was fine, but I just wanted the Navy to take a giant can opener and go, yeah, it was great. Fantastic.
Yeah, very good, very good. No, it's been very exciting, and the reason I had to get that is just that it just feels like like people of our age were sort of cheated out of the excitement of space. Really, in that sense, the going to the moon happened before we were born, and then it was just sort of short haul back and forth, Mir, and then the International Space Station. But now actually delivering on the promise of what may come next, permanence on the moon, going further, and just doing. Oh, I mean, it feels like we're a
But
little
don't
bit.
forget, I mean, the moon is drifting ever slowly, but the moon is drifting further and further away
Yes.
from Earth. So if we wanted to terraform Earth, I don't know. Terraform the moon. I don't know if that would go well.
Oh, yeah,
I always,
but as a platform, and the fact that we're getting a little bit further along the opening credits of Star Trek Enterprise is fantastic. No, no,
Oh, sorry,
it's
that's
the
DS9.
it's the Faith of the Heart. It's been a long road.
Oh,
from
no,
there to
no.
here.
Please, Mark, no, no. What's your story, Mark, before I go on to mine?
Uh, well, my story actually comes, oddly enough, from what appears to be a sports aggregate website. This is
Okay.
really weird as a source, because I even Googled as.com. This is the English version of a Spanish and English website, as.com. And like in the about section, they've got scores, soccer, NFL, NBA, MLB, all this stuff. But then this headline, which also links to an archaeological paper in archaeological prospection, is archaeologists investigate on a farm and find a mound with remains dating back to over 5,000 years ago. And
That's
I
a
was,
good sports article. That's a sports article I would definitely read.
yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe it was getting in the way of a kickoff or something. You know, people are like, "Hey, I can't kick the ball. There's something in the way." So archaeologists have analysed ancient Neolithic burial structures hidden beneath farmland. Is the subheadline. This is from the Czech Republic, and it's the location of numerous Neolithic burial mounds, more than 5,000 years old, which experts already knew were there, but they had not been able to pinpoint their exact locations. But a new study published in Archaeological Prospection, hence I guess the prospection part, researchers showed that remote sensing strategies can identify these prehistoric funerary monuments that had remained hidden. Now, the article itself is open access. And I'll obviously be linking to that below as well. But the article here goes on to talk about the way in which authors had made several statements following these findings. Aerial imagery, especially oblique aerial photographs, that's photographs from an angle, so you get shadows and things showing up on the photography from high up as well, from a plane or something, or maybe a drone, I guess these days, remains indispensable for recognizing characteristic ground plans of long barrows, while magnetic surveys provide critical insights into their internal structure, construction elements, and associated features, including burial pits that are otherwise obscured by extensive positive crop marks. Positive and negative archaeology is, and also actually in prospecting, is a feature where crop marks can indicate something below the ground based on how well the crops are growing, basically in this instance.
Like I can smell the geofizz.
Geofizz.
I can smell it.
Yeah. Yeah. 2,900 archaeological features were actually shown to be in the study area, grouped in 4 main clusters. These monuments and structures served as ritual anchors within the landscape. With
How
evidence.
do they know that? Did they find any artifacts that say so?
Well, these were long barrows. So long barrows with
All right,
nuclei
fair enough.
and enduring ritual landscapes rather than short-lived burial sites. So these are long-term. People are returning to them, reusing them, and what's the word? Reaffirming.
Repurposing?
No,
Okay.
reaffirming the use of these sites over a long period of time. Discoveries have provided a new understanding of the organization of prehistoric settlements, demonstrating that long barrows were deliberately built along the edges of inhabited areas, which is a common thing that we see in the Neolithic. In the Neolithic, for example, further north in Europe, often long barrows are placed on high points and ridges so that they're visible, this kind of thing. Researchers observed that cemeteries were located on the outskirts of up to 490 yards away from communities, creating a symbolic boundary between the living and the dead. This spatial separation had long been theorized, but modern technology has confirmed it for the first time. Unfortunately, there's no individuals identified as men. But the results.
Not even in the barrows? The barrows were not men.
I don't think actually in this instance that they've actually done excavation. I think that this is just identifying them. The results underline the value of multi-method remote sensing, not only as a tool for site detection, but also as a means of reconstructing prehistoric land use strategies and social practices, the team wrote. In the case of Bohemian long barrows, which just makes me think of sort of basically hippies and, you know, people wearing...
Oh, you went there. I immediately went, Scaramouche, Scaramouche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long barrows, remote sensing reveals a landscape structured by a persistent conceptual division between, and this is where men comes in, the realms of the living and the dead. A division that was maintained and renegotiated. That's another good anthropological word. Renegotiated over millennia. So I think it just struck me as it's an interesting thing that lots of people, when they think of archaeology, they think about excavation. Excavation, though, is in fact destructive. And geophysics, as was often highlighted at the beginning of Time Team episodes, can not only help you to find where things are, but also in this instance gives you an opportunity to actually study the landscape. You don't actually have to do the digging. That said, though, the
Yes, you
digging.
do. I want to find the stuff.
Well, yeah, exactly. The digging will help you find the stuff.
Geophys can't help me find, well, Geophys helps you find burning and all that other, but
Yeah.
it can't give me the Temple of Doom artifacts.
No, exactly. Yeah, yeah. All the bones, or or the men. But yeah, archaeological prospection linked to from as far as I can tell, a sports aggregate website.
Thanks,
Interesting.
sports, for
Yeah.
finally doing something educational.
Yeah, yeah.
My next story is one that Mark posted, and I just love this word. So Neanderthals used ancient gloop
Yes, good. Yeah, glue.
as bacterial medicine study suggests. And so this one comes to us from science. And when you look at the picture, you're like, oh, this isn't gloop. It's just kind of this black carbon junk. But it will be gloop in a second. Relatives of modern humans may have created and used a sticky substance both as glue, hence the gloop, and to treat their wounds, hence the gloop. Preempting modern medicines by as much as 200,000 years, a new study suggests. Researchers have known that Neanderthals
Is today's episode brought to you by the words well and gloop?
gloop. Neanderthals used birch tar. That's what it is. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to use the word gloop, but I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
It's birch tar, a viscous substance derived from birch bark, to glue spear points into handles in a process known as hafting. This substance has been found across Europe, and it has served in multiple purposes, including some of the history's oldest water sealant and Hubba Bubba. Which is great.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently.
Wow.
Apparently Hubba Bubba's got birch gloop in it. Alongside these findings, there is also growing evidence in medicine practices and the use of plants among Neanderthals, which is why we're interested in the use of birch tar in this context, explains Tiark Simison, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, an archaeologist at the University of Cologne and Oxford University, and the study's lead author. So in the recent study, researchers at the University of Cologne, the University of Oxford, and the University of Liège recreated this birch tar using ingredients and processes that were possibly utilized by Neanderthals. So we're not sure, but they're studying it right now.
Cool.
Then researchers at Cape Breton University, Nova Scotia, performed biological tests to confirm the tar's medicinal properties. And that's the real main issue here, is that the tar does have, the gloop is indeed, in fact, medicinal.
Indeed. Apply the gloop. Yeah.
Yes. Bring out the gloop. Just four people on it. Hut, 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 hut.
Yep. Yep.
The gloop masters.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what we proved. The substance Neanderthals made 200,000 years ago, we know now, also possesses antibacterial properties, says Matthias Bernstell, a professor of chemistry at Cape Breton University and study co-author. And there's pictures of the gloop being chewed and wrapped in things. And so this is an ancient medicine that was around. So it's to recreate this deeply historical glue medicine, or gloop, TM. The researchers collected bark from two types of birch trees, widely documented during the late Pleistocene era, 129,000 to 11,000 years ago. And so that's where.
Okay.
And they go on to talk about the Mi'kmaq Nation and how maybe this method is also used by certain modern native groups as well. But it's funny because when you look at the pictures of this, you think, oh, it's just two rocks and then something in the middle that looks like a half-chewed mochi, and that's exactly what it looks like.
Hey, sounds gloopy to me. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll just add a little extra Neanderthal news story. Actually, I saw this I think this morning, and the headline is horrifying. Neanderthal infants were enormous compared with modern humans.
I don't know, man. I was pretty big. I was 9 pounds. My head was bigger than my body, which is kind of how it is now too.
Oh, I see. Well, I mean, obviously we've talked about this before, but you're, in that sense, that's not actually hair; that's your head.
Yes, it's part of my head. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the growth that pours upward.
Yeah. But actually, in this instance, an infant known as Amud 7, is
that his last name?
Yeah, exactly. A very young skeleton, thought to have been about 6 months old. Was let me just check this. It was probably about 6 months old when they died. But in terms of bone length, brain development, and other comparable measurements, Amud 7 is closer to modern humans aged between 12 and 14 months. So at 6 months, they were twice the size of an equivalent. Well, I'm
Well,
not
you
sure.
know what? Now, when I think back to like, the Venus of Willendorf, I understand why they needed hips that big because their hips don't lie.
Yeah,
If they needed that much cake, that means those babies must have been.
yeah, chunky. But also actually specifically, they do say it doesn't mean that the infants were fat. It means that they were big and probably quite muscular. And we already knew this about their arms as well. Like
They just come out as like a JoJo's baby where they're already buffed.
well, like was it Little Hercules all those years ago? Yeah, on the interwebs.
God.
But yes, it's a thing, and but it's intriguing combining that. Because that headline on its own makes you think, oh, well, Neanderthals, ugh, of course they're going to have big, brutish infants. But also...
No, it's not necessarily
well,
true.
no, sorry, I mean to say the way it's often presented. I'm a fan of Neanderthals. I do not think that they were brutes. But actually, this combined with things like the use of gloop, the increasing...
And they're instruments, right?
Yeah, instruments. They're increasing use of, increasingly accepted use of tools, chemistry, essentially, and also lots more arguments for the use of art, for example, means that they're not that massively dissimilar to us. And yeah, they are.
It's just I find it really
they were our
helpful
cousins in
to
that
think
sense.
of Neanderthals as orcs. That's what I
Yeah,
find it really helpful.
yeah. Well, and also in your case, obviously, orcs are the heroes of so many of your stories. So, like,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, they're there to help you win the day on Valentine's Day.
So, they might say ugh or ung as they usually say,
Mhm.
but they're also capable of music, complex emotion, and playing dodgeball with giant boulders. So
Exactly. So, have you got a bonus for us this week?
I do, and this actually comes from Mark because I thought it was great and I wanted to make a point about it. And
Okay.
it says, linguists launch appeal for regional swear words, and this is directly from the BBC. And a lot of people are like, oh, why is this important? As linguists, vulgarity is a very important feature of language.
Fuck
And
yeah.
I think this, other linguists think this. I know my friend Dr. Wes on Scripting Japan goes on about this. If you do not understand how vulgarity works in a specific language, you cannot properly learn that language.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you'll hear a lot of nonsense about saying this language doesn't have as much vulgarity as English. This language doesn't have much. That is absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
Every language, every culture has their own concept of linguistic vulgarity, or taboo words, and they change over time. For example, I won't say this word out loud because we'll get demonetized, but the C word. The C word is a very bad word over here in Canada, but it's not as bad where Mark lives. And
No.
oftentimes, and it's even a term of endearment in places like
Hmm.
Australia and Scotland,
Glasgow. Yep. Hmm.
yeah, and parts of Ireland as well.
Yep.
So there's that is just how the language develops.
Mm.
And understanding even regional swear words, as this article goes on to say, is extremely important for not only speaking the language, but understanding regional societies. It is part of sociolinguistics to understand how swear words and vulgarity work. So it says linguists have appealed to the public for help to create a national database of regional swear words. Mark, I hope you have participated in this because this is in your neck of the woods.
To be fair, actually, I was asking a few people last night, and we were struggling in the moment to think of unusual swear words. So I think what we'll have to do is go around bashing people on the foot, and just see what comes out.
Well, and the question is, what is a swear word? Because as I
Yeah.
say, when I was a kid growing up where I did, even something like crap was considered to be a mild swear, which you
Mm.
think that's nothing now. And crap just comes from crapulent, which is not a swear word. But again, what is vulgarity?
Mm.
Vulgarity is whatever you think it is, whatever that society or that family group considers to be a vulgar word. Is it a word that's taboo that you should not use, or something that's rude? Or maybe it has to do with the fact you shouldn't use it with your elders, you shouldn't use it with your friends, etc. the concept of linguistic vulgarity is very interesting as a
Mm.
sociolinguistic subject. That
But
says, as
what? Oh,
expert.
sorry. Well, okay, so I was going to say two quick things based on what you just said. I just made me think. So first of all, I think vulgarity is also less likely to be preserved in polite and frequently reproduced forms, which is one of the reasons
Yes.
why it may well be lost. But also, just for folks at home, think of this is obviously a fictional example, but think of Star Wars and Nerf Herder.
Mm-hmm.
Why, you stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Who's scruffy looking?
You know, you scruffy looking Nerf Herder. To us, doesn't sound particularly vulgar, but it's clearly she's reaching for something to call this, son of a gun, and she reaches for Nerf Herder, and it tells you something about how they view herding nerfs and how that relates to the rest of society. So that, yeah, it gives you insight at what people choose to curse or swear with. Yeah.
Yeah, and we do it all the time now. I mean, obviously, there's also a study of self-censorship because of things like algorithms, and
Mm,
so there's algo speak, where people will say things like unalive
mm,
instead of death and that kind of thing,
mm,
but purposely to get around. And so our concept of vulgarity and what is vulgar is constantly changing all the
mm,
time. And so that's why this study is really important.
mm.
It says experts at the University of Sheffield, want to build a UK swear map to show how English is spoken before the words and phrases used locally in 2026 disappear.
Mm.
Dr. Chris Montgomery, who's leading the project alongside Arts Modern Toss, says we're really interested in anything that's rude, that's a bit naughty, and it might be counted as a swear word or phrase. Because, like I said, vulgarity is
Mm.
not only a word; it can be anything. It can be a concept, idea. One of my favorite dictionaries of all time is the Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue, which 1811. There are many different versions, but you can read the 1811 version online, and some of them are just so good, and some of them are really terrible. Like
Mhm, mhm,
there's a lot of vulgarity having to do with the fundament, a lot of
mhm,
vulgarity having
mhm.
to do with the female unmentionables. There's a lot of interesting things
Bull's
that
Pizzle, I think, was one that
Oh,
comes to mind.
there's so many
Yeah,
good ones. There's
yeah.
so many
Mm,
good ones of things that were considered to be vulgar or really not vulgar in the Latin sense, which just means common speech,
yeah.
right? So think of something like vulgar Latin, where
Mm,
it's the Latin of common people, and so it's the speech of common people. And as Mark said, when we have the writings of polite society, that may or may not uh, capture some kind of. That's why collecting letters and telegrams and
mm.
things are so important because that's unfiltered speech.
And also
We need that.
graffiti in
Yeah,
Pompeii, for
absolutely.
example. Yeah. Mm,
Oh, so many penises.
mm.
So many penises.
Yeah.
I
Penises,
mean,
but
I know that
also
that city was used for a specific thing.
actually you get lots of insight into, again, forms of insults and the framing of what is considered to be an insult, which, I mean, so what another one that comes to mind, actually, I've been watching a certain TV series. I'm still not going to be announcing which TV series I've been watching publicly, because one person in particular will be like, "Oh, you've watched it, tell me what you thought." But in that show, there's lots of concern about whether or not someone is an illegitimate child. The B word, which I think we can probably say bastard, actually. That's okay.
Yeah, bastard is
Yeah.
not. If
Be-
you are bastard is also, you could call someone a bastard, but
yeah.
I mean nowadays it holds no water anymore because
No.
you just go, oh, oh, an illegitimate child. Ooh, how
No.
bad, how terrible. Nobody cares.
No.
Nobody.
Well, no, exactly. And so it's interesting, again, how that gives you an insight into why that insult was so powerful. And actually, I would say probably at the very beginning of my life, so maybe in the early 80s, it was still, people would still shout it in a horrible way, even if it was losing its relevance. But certainly over the course of the past few decades, it's not really.
I always say when you go in the comments, you can always tell who is a single man over the age of 60 because they still use the word cocksucker like it's a bad thing.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
And so your
They
vulgarity,
clearly have not been to that festival.
yeah,
Those lollipops.
they clearly have not indulged in the joys, but there's but in general, you can tell, and as we say, vulgarity and the concept of what is vulgar or the concept of swear words or bad things to say or taboos, it changes with every generation.
Mm.
So, like I say, you can tell instantly who is over the age of 60 because of the things that they think are vulgar. Whereas, kids today go, "You think that's bad?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah. Clearly never tried it. Exactly.
yeah."
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, no, like I say, I'm gonna keep an eye out, and also, honestly, frankly, I wonder if they'll publish publish like an accessible
It says they will because
dictionary.
it's supposed to be a map. So
Brilliant.
you enter your own. BBC was actually very good about this a couple of years ago when they did a dialect. They asked people to record themselves talking,
Okay.
and there actually is a dialect map that I have the link to that you can go onto, which is very helpful.
Uh-huh.
If because whenever you do a British accent, I'm like, oh my God, where from? The accent changes every 4 miles. Get out of
Yeah.
here. But it's the
A
same thing.
British. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
That's what one of my students said to me once. Like, I don't remember what we were doing. I think we were doing a reading example, and she just turned around and she goes, "Why does he sound like a British?" I was like, "A British what?" Why does he sound like a British? I almost passed out laughing.
Wow. Mm.
And it wasn't even a British sample of anything. That's why I thought it was the funniest, just the most random
Was it like
thing.
mid-Atlantic? Was it or
No,
no?
and no,
Interesting.
Mark, we can get into how that whole fallacy of the transatlantic accent doesn't exist. It's
Mm.
not. It's just a North England accent that some people had, like people like JFK,
Yeah.
who spoke like that, but nobody nobody actually had that accent or affected that accent. You were
Mm.
from a very specific part of North England. That's where
Mm.
you were,
Mm.
or New England rather.
Yeah,
Sorry.
New England. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, from the north, he talked
Yeah.
like this, and
From the
I
north.
had well, and then again, that specific show that you're watching that you are not telling anybody you're watching, they just have random North accents, and the only person who actually whips out his Sheffield accent is a very certain man who is
He
the
does
only
it pretty
person who's
well.
from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why he does it pretty well.
Well, actually, there's a follow-on series which I'm currently watching, where someone from that part of the world is trying to sound like this person, and they absolutely do not. So they're really
No.
so they're doing the. You can always tell when they put the sort of the glottal stops in the wrong places. Basically, they think
Yeah,
that's what a
or
northerner
the
sounds
the
like.
intonation is wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, interesting. Definitely want to keep an eye on. Fantastic. Well, this has been short, sharp, and sweet. Michelle has things to do, things that do not involve being here with us. So we're
But
going to let her
remember,
go.
kids, if you're really excited about space and somebody puts a
Oh,
microphone in your face, just look them right in the eye and go, because we're going to the fucking moon.
oh.
That's why.
Right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, do take care. Bye bye.
I wasn't going to give you.